An obscure Montana tax credit program approved by state lawmakers 4 years ago got its day in court today. The U.S. Supreme Court, that is.
Now, at issue whether religious schools can be excluded from government-backed scholarship programs.
It's a case with potentially far-reaching implications for church-state relations all across the country. Well, today's hour-long hearing showcased the divide between the court's conservative and liberal justices.
Q2's Jay Cohn joins us now with more on today's historic high court showdown. Jay?
Well, Janelle and Russ, it's safe to say that no one who was involved in establishing this tax credit program 4 years ago here in Montana could have foreseen this issue ending up on the plate of the nation's highest court. But when some Flathead County parents sued the state, claiming Montana's no aid clause violated their religious freedom, well, the U.S. Supreme Court was the ultimate destination. And that's exactly where today's showdown took place, with the eyes of the nation watching. CBS's Jan Crawford, the network's chief legal correspondent, was on hand in the court to witness today's hearing. While she admits it's a mistake to predict the outcome of a case based on oral arguments alone, she tells us the battle lines were clearly drawn.
But based on the arguments today, the conservative justices, and they have the majority on the Supreme Court, seem sympathetic to the idea that these parents should be able to have access to that scholarship money to send their children to those private religious schools. The liberal justices were skeptical and seemed concerned that a ruling for the parents in this case would kind of open up a Pandora's box and potentially undermine public funding for public schools.
Chief Justice John Roberts, fresh off a late night presiding over the impeachment trial in the Senate, posed sharp questions to both sides. Many believe he may have the swing vote on this case.
And he was pretty active during the arguments. He's a conservative, and this is a court that in recent years has been more favorable with a conservative majority to claims of religious discrimination.
The no aid clause in Montana's Constitution bans any taxpayer dollars from going to religious schools. It mirrors similar laws in 36 other states. Today, attorneys for the parents said such clauses were motivated by bigotry toward Catholicism in the 1800s. But the state's attorney said that wasn't the case in Montana.
Montana's lawyer in court today made clear that whatever may have motivated those state constitutional amendments in the 1800s was not the case in Montana, because it rewrote that in 1972 and actually had testimony from religious leaders and pastors who supported this amendment, saying that they were worried about government kind of interfering with their ability to practice religion.
Very divisive case. And as for when to expect a decision, Crawford told me she believes that will come in June. She says this new term for the Supreme Court features a full plate of contentious, controversial issues. In fact, she says it's the most she's seen in her 25 years of covering the Supreme Court. And those tough decisions, she says, just take longer to reach, frequently involving dissenting opinions, and just take more of the justice's time to make those decisions. Russ and Janelle, back to you guys.
All right. Thanks so much, Jay.